Hey guys, I just wanted to give you a few more tips and tricks that I thought of as I was writing my example paper for you to look at. So here's the example. I have it also posted as the Word document in Blackboard, so you can open that, review it, read through it, see what it sounds like when you're explaining mathematics. Um, Notice here I put a heading. I don't care if you use MLA or APA, whatever you're used to using. If it looks like this, if it doesn't look like this, I don't care. The big thing is I want your name on the paper somewhere, so when I'm grading it, I don't have to go back to the email to see who sent it. So just make sure your name's on it. In class, I showed you if you go Insert, Equation, you're going to get this nice equation editor. Here's one thing I didn't think of that is very helpful. When you're, that's not right. When you're here, Insert, before you click on it, if you right click on it and click Add to Quick Access Toolbar, it's going to give you this little pie symbol up here. That's going to make adding your equation editor a lot easier, a lot more simple in your math. So notice, every time I wrote numbers as part of my equation or an X, it gives me this little box. That means I'm in my equation tools. I'm in my equation editor. In this case, I was able to use my keyboard for all of it, but every single time I wrote it, I use that equation editor, so my numbers are the same font. Notice my X, it's not the normal X you'd have if I just typed an X here. Of course, it's going to look like that. I wanted my X's to be italicized, like we normally have our variables when we're typing math, so I always use the equation editor. Another hint for you, or another quick tip, I guess. So if I wanted to just write X equals 5 like I did here, if I just click up here on the equation editor, it's going to automatically give me this box, and I can type my X equals 5 in there. And it looks a lot nicer than if I just type X equals 5 outside of my equation editor. Look at the difference in that way that looks. This looks a lot nicer than this. It's a lot easier to read. So if you just, all you have to do to get that is click up here and then start typing. Or let's say I typed X equals 5 out like this and then decided I don't like how that looks. I want it to be written in the equation editor. If you copy it, or excuse me, highlight it, and then click on your pi symbol, it's going to automatically translate that into that nice equation editor math type that we like to see. So just a couple tricks for you there. Notice my explanation is here in 3 paragraphs. I don't care really how many paragraphs yours is. You can break it up however you want. I solved my equation 2 different ways. So my first explanation was using only the principles of equality. My second equation was using the distributive property and then the principles of equality. You do not have to do that. You do not have to solve it 2 different ways. I just wanted to write enough to give you an example of what I was looking for. Notice I never use the words you or I. I don't have any contractions. I tried to use those transition words. Second, now, next, lastly, final. I'm going to look for those things. Those are really easy to do when you're typing math up. It's really easy to use those transition words. That's part of that rubric you'll see as well. Also, I did a final step of checking my work. Not necessarily mandatory, not mandatory in solving the equation, but it doesn't take long and it's really good to add into any equation you're solving. Show that when you substitute in the correct value or your answer, that you get out the solution you're looking for. So you can see mine's, only 3 paragraphs, barely, not even a page long, but I solved a much simpler equation than what you're looking at, just to give you an idea of the sorts of things I'm looking for. Now, one other thing you can do is if you Google math explanations or typing math or math in Word, something like that, if you're looking for example problems, sometimes what you'll see is every time they have an equation or anytime they're solving, they center it down the page, so all of the math is centered in the page, and then you just pick up on the next line. And I think you can do that in here as well. Normal text. Oh, wait, no. Somewhere in here. Oh. Anyway, somewhere in here you can do that. If that's how you'd like to solve it, you can do that as well. And again, different word years have different types of programs. If you have an older word, rather than equation editor, like this is called, you're going to have what's called math type. It might be located somewhere else, and that might be a little bit more challenging to use, but I've used both, and they both work. So just an example for you. If you have any questions, please ask. Again, if you're in contact with me before the end of the week, as long as I know where you're at, I won't count it late until the end of next week. I will take each assignment, I will grade it, I will give it back to you, I'll record that grade. But If you would like to redo anything I give you tips on, I'll regrade it then and give you the higher score. So again, questions, comments, let me know. Just a little bit of a tips and tricks video to help you out.